Hello, again. This is about the fourth time I've tried recording this. Sometimes I turn the microphone off and forget to turn it back on. Sometimes I turn the scripts off and don't turn them back on. Anyway, thank you for coming back. My name's Bill Gibbons. This is my diary. Been a weird day so far. I mean, it's only 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Been playing with the cats. Sausage and onion sandwich for lunch. Didn't really like the sausage. I think I cooked it really badly. Can't concentrate on anything. I've been dipping in and out of music and YouTube and Amazon, and concentration just isn't there. I am getting better at the subtitles, mind you. And a confusing thing happened to me when I was trying to put the Filipino / Tagalog subtitles on via YouTube. And that is that YouTube has Filipino and Tagalog despite it being the same language. So I've discussed it with Lita, and Filipinos generally look for Tagalog, not Filipino. So I'm going to put Tagalog subtitles on in future. And just ignore the Filipino bit. But it's covering, I think 95% of the world's languages are covered by speakers. I mean, English, Chinese and the Indian languages alone cover half the population of the planet. And there's another 17 or so that I add on top of those, including Russian, Polish, Indonesian, German, French, Spanish, Italian, Greek. So Europe's covered, and most of Latin America's covered, because I do Spanish and Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese and Portuguese. There are slight differences, although Greek is only Greek. There's not Greek and Greek Cyprus, which sort of proves my point. Greek Cypriots aren't a thing. You have Greek speaking Cypriots and Turkish speaking Cypriots, but they are all Cypriots. It is just bizarre how people say I'm a Greek Cypriot or Turkish Cypriot. That's a long story, man. And I can prove that most of the people that say it, if they're, over 45 and they were born on the island, are wrong. Because before 1974, I think it was, when the Turks invaded, it was just Cyprus. Okay, there was Turkish and Greek-speaking Cypriots, but it was just Cyprus. There was no division. So where you're being born would be Cyprus, not Greek Cyprus. There was no such thing. Or Turkish Cyprus. There was no such thing. There isn't really now, because even in the Greek-speaking half of Cyprus, you still get Turks, and in the Turkish-speaking half, you still get a few Greeks. Not many, mind you, but it is still mixed to a degree. Cyprus is a long story. I might do another video on the thoughts and beliefs things about Cyprus, because that needs saying. It really does. It's been ignored for so long. The cats have been playing. Tabs is asleep. I've got the sound and the lighting right now. I think I'm going to have to be careful with the sound cable over here. I really don't know. I can't concentrate. There's a woman on YouTube I've been watching. I can't really say much. I've emailed her to see if I can mention her on my channel. But it is an excellent channel. And if I get a response back that's positive, I'll do a little piece about her, because she's the most open-minded, honest, unbiased, non-prejudgmental person I have ever come across. And it is so refreshing. I've actually said that to her. It's so refreshing to find someone on YouTube that has an opinion based on experience, not based on prejudgment. If only everyone was like that, life would be so easy. What else is happening? Not an awful lot. I'm going to put a bit of music on in a moment. Been looking at maybe getting a graphic equalizer for the music, but then it sounds alright as it is, so do you want to tamper with the sound that's on the disc, or do you want to have it as raw as it comes off the studio? I set all my equalizers to flat mostly anyway. If there's a built-in, like on the Blu-ray there's a built-in equalizer, I set it to flat and it sounds fine. So I'm not sure I'd make much use of an equalizer, because to use it properly you'd need to adjust it slightly for every tune. I mean, you can set it up for your room, but that is the equivalent of tuning out the flatness sort of thing. So I don't know. I'm quite happy with my setup. I think the capacitors are going on the record player. I might sit down in the week and list down all the capacitors and order them off eBay. Get some nice branded, Nakasumi or something that Mr. Carlson goes on about. Decent branded capacitors anyway, and just resolder them in. It isn't, it's quite nice, and it's an old turntable, so it's all widely spaced and you've got no surface mount. It is lovely in there. So I should be able to do that without breaking it. And I've got a decent soldering iron down here somewhere. One day this is all going to end, you know that. And I'll be able to go out, and my rubbish won't live in the flat. And I might even find some way of getting the kids out occasionally. But until the council take action against people for breaking their tenancies, actually, instead of threatening, actually taking action. Because let's face it, if all they're doing is sending out letters because they're supposed to comply with the law, and they're threatening people and they hope that they comply because they've got no intention of actually taking action, then it's unfair on people with autism. Because people with autism will do what they're told. People without autism do what they want. That's the difference. And yet people with autism expect contracts, which is what a tenancy agreement is. It's a contract. Expect contracts to be fulfilled. And it's not up to councils to say what part of the contract we've both signed and agreed to they're going to upkeep. It's a two-way thing. You can't say, well, this is a tenants agreement, I know it says this, but we're not going to enforce it. We don't put it down in the tenants agreement so everyone has the same terms. Isn't that fair on everyone? If you're not going to enforce fire regulations, for instance, then take it all out the tenancy agreement and send an amendment out saying, oh, we're not going to enforce this. No, they won't do that, because by law they're supposed to enforce stuff like that. Have I got one of my cats behind me? I have. My little Merly Moo's behind me. Can you see him? Just there, I think. If I turn around. If I turn more onto the camera, it might make more sense. Yeah, so that's another little rant of mine. Contracts that are only one way, i.e., people in power can decide what they're going to do, but people not in power have to do everything just in case. That's unfair, don't you think? I think I mentioned it in yesterday's video, but I sent a few complaints off yesterday via the Housing Ombudsman because the council's still not logging my complaints. And the thing is, I don't know what complaints they are logging. Some of my complaints, but I don't know which one, so I have to complain about all of them, basically, because I've told the council just send in a "we have logged your complaint, here's your reference number" is not good enough, because you don't know which ones they've logged and which ones they don't, because they don't tell you the contents of the actual complaint. All you get is a reference number. Hardly what you call customer focused, and it's hardly the most complicated thing on this earth to actually generate a response with a reference number and add your email as an attachment. I was doing that 10-15 years ago, so I'm sure even Waltham Forest IT can manage that. So I don't want to hear none of this nonsense about, "Oh, it's not possible, Mr. Gibbons, our system isn't set up for it." Yeah, but you don't say it's not possible, do you? You don't say your system cannot ever be set up for it. You just don't want to do it. I'm fed up of going over the same old ground, the same old, as Lita would say. Same shit, different day. Yeah, nothing there. Ian Duncan Smith, nothing. Nothing from the Housing Ombudsman. Nothing from anyone. Yeah. Oh well, let's go back and listen to a bit of Popcorn, and then I'll probably give Lita a call later and see if she wants to speak to me on a very bad phone line that she's sitting in the middle of a tunnel on. Dear. At least mine's all up and running, and I mean my internet has been really good since I split it into two. At the moment I'm getting somewhere between 20 and 30 meg down and about 15 to 20 up. So it's pretty good. It's consistent and it hasn't dropped. The only time it dropped was when I stopped the two router system, and then it dropped on the Huawei router after about 2 days. So I think there is definitely a bug on the Huawei router. But this works. I'm getting, I can stream and download and listen to the radio wherever I am, and all the Spark devices work. So that's good enough for me. Anyway, what are we on? 13 minutes. I might as well stop now because you're going to get all the noise from outside. Anyway, he picks up the tablet and says, "This is where it all ends. Thank you for watching."